Hello and welcome back to Learning the Discipline. We've been enjoying watching your flip videos and reading your discussions and getting to know you a little better and your ideas. Speaking of, if you have not yet finished the reply post to your peers regarding their flip videos or their discussions about what makes a good classroom environment, you want to do that by Tuesday night at 11:59 p.m. That's when all of those discussions want to be in by. So make sure you've done that. If you already have, awesome. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing for next week. So let me go ahead and close out this section. All right. Here is our next week. This is going to be going from Tuesday until the following Tuesday, the 26th. So what is your to-do list by Friday? You're going to watch the video you're watching right now. You're going to read an article on constructivism. You're going to read an article on active learning. You're going to watch a video on the LA model and then submit your initial post by 11:59 p.m. on Friday. And then by next Tuesday, the 26th, you're going to submit at least 2 replies. And we're going to look at that in more detail. By the end of this lesson, you should be familiar with the theory of constructivism from educational psychology. You should be able to articulate the essential elements of the LA model and be able to connect the essential elements of the LA model to constructivism and active learning and reflect on your own experiences with traditional and active learning. If you're not a learning assistant, that's fine. We still want you to understand the model because I think it has a lot to say about peer learning models in general and how those can be really useful for student understanding. So there's a lot of really good educational psychology that's in that beyond the specifics of the LA model that we're using. All right, so let's go ahead and look at those articles in that video and we'll see what we're talking about. They're all going to be right here. This first one is an article on constructivism. This is an article that's printed on a psychology website. You can go into a lot more depth on constructivism. There's whole books written about this, but we want just sort of a simple overview, and that's why we're using this article from Simply Psychology. I was going to talk a little bit about constructivism, some of the main principles of the practice of constructivism, and some of the big foundational authors like Vygotsky, and thinking about the zone of proximal development, things like that, and why we understand how people create their own knowledge, and how that relates to things like the learning assistant model. So here's the first article on constructivism, and you will note that it is pretty short. Then the second article you're going to read is right up here. And this is a little bit longer, and it's going to be talking about how these ideas we have about educational psychology can then apply to how we structure classroom contexts. And so again, you'll look at the theoretical basis, what is some of the evidence, things like that, so that you better understand constructivism and its implications for active learning. And then finally, you're going to watch this short video on the essential elements of the LA model. Let me move this over here. There we go. This is going to be talking about practice in the classroom, how LAs engage in the classroom, the pedagogy course, which is what we're doing right now, and the weekly meetings where LAs are meeting with their faculty members to discuss what learning looks like in the classroom, prepare for the next week, all that good stuff. This video is narrated right there by Lori Langdon, and she's a colleague of Dr. Sabella and myself at University of Colorado Boulder. She's super awesome, so you get to hear her for a little bit. All right, so let's come back to what we're doing then. So after you've read these 2 articles and you've watched this video, you're going to then work on this discussion board. We'll talk about why it says restricted there in just a second. You're going to respond to 2 or more, but you only has to be 2, but you could respond to more questions than that. And answer things like, why is active learning more effective than traditional teaching based on the theory of constructivism? How does the LA model fit within a framework of constructivism? Why would the LA model be less effective if you only use 2 of the essential elements instead of all 3? What is an active learning strategy that you think would work well in your discipline, and why do you think it would work well? And there's a whole bunch of strategies listed in that article. And why do you think some students are hesitant about active learning? If you were in LA who had a student hesitant about active learning, how would you assist them? So why does it say restricted up here? One of the things we want to do is we want to make sure that this class is as interactive as possible. And sometimes when you're on a discussion board and there's, 15 people posting and commenting, it can get a little overwhelming. There's so much stuff to read. You end up feeling like, these 3 people said really similar stuff, and like that's what I was thinking too, but now I'm not sure what to say. That doesn't sound like I'm just repeating them. How do we really forge a discussion environment when there's so many people? So we broke you up into groups of 4. And when you click on this discussion, you should only be able to see posts and comments from the 4 people, from yourself and the 3 other people in your group. And that'll hopefully sort of foster more real discussion because you're not overwhelmed with posts, you know directly who you're talking with, and so we're gonna try that out. We'll still be able to see everything, but you'll just see those other people in your group. All right. So, please let us know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. After you've done that first post on Friday, remember you want to reply to at least 2 of your peers by the following Tuesday. Make sure that you're not just writing, I agree or I disagree, but you're really explaining why that is. And again, trying to make this as much of a conversation as possible. Let us know if you have any questions about content, theory, just what's due, and we look forward to seeing more of your thoughts about these ideas. Thanks.